Hi guys, and welcome to Fashion Scout Digital. I am live at the W London. My name is Annaliese. I am a model, presenter, and most importantly, an FAD patron. Now, it's a very exciting morning, Fashion Week 2020, and we're doing things slightly different. As I said, I'm very excited because FAD have teamed up with Fashion Scout to bring you Black Lives Matter, a message to the fashion industry. This is a virtual gallery where 24 young designers, or creatives I should say, are raising their voice for a more equal, more just and more sustainable future in the fashion industry. Let's take a look at what it's all about.
Change is coming, and we are that change. It's now our time to shine.
created with me and my friends, it has become something much more beautiful than I could ever imagined. It's a complete celebration of natural hair, of blackness, and how blackness is ignored.
Every hair on my head was counted and made with intention, and beneath this grand crown, an entire galaxy stands to attention. Blessed with the skin made for stars, and the universe for a mind, and a light as a heart that can call the cosmos to align.
Black life matter, opportunity matter, equality matter, respect matter, hope matter, freedom matter, peace matter, education matter, your identity matter, I matter, you matter. There will be freedom in the morning. There will be peace in the morning. There will be education for everyone. Oh, my people, cry no more. There will be people in the morning.
Like, how incredible and inspiring was that video? You guys have to make sure that you check out the full gallery. It's available on www.fad.org.uk. You can see the artist's full work right there. Now, though, I am very excited to introduce my awesome panel right here. We're going to be talking through some of the issues raised. Cleo, take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Cleo and I'm a fashion student and artist.
Hi everybody, I'm Danielle. I am an assistant buyer at River Island. So that's helping product get to store that you guys want to buy. And also I am an project manager for FAD.
Hi everyone, I'm Marta. I'm a fashion designer and developer for Fila. I designed the women's wear collection, and I also have my own label called Dispari, which is a women's wear, well, it's actually a unisex line that I'm working on at the moment.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I am a garment tech for Nicce, and my main responsibility is making sure all your clothes fit.
Hi, my name is Ola. I'm a textile designer at a brand called Ola. I'm also the program manager for the fashion school, where I do the logistics and set up the different courses that we run there.
Hi, my name is Sharifah. I'm a creative responsibility assistant at Penguin Random House, and I have my own brand called Oshun's Vanity.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I'm design director at ASOS.com. So I'm basically responsible for the creative direction of all the product that you buy that's ASOS. And I've been working in the fashion industry for just over 20 years.
Wow, well, hello everyone. Give me all a wave. It'll make me feel better as well. It's so nice to have all of you guys here with me. We have just seen a video there. The online gallery has gone live. It was so amazing, so inspiring. I think I just want to hear some of your thoughts, like which artists, what themes stood out to you?
So I really loved Leia Wasike Jin's work. Hopefully I've said her name correctly, but it's really lovely. So many beautiful hairstyles, which are not usually depicted within like the fashion industry. And it's just nice to see her creative take on that. Also, I liked Christy Packer's work. She's got a book with around 130 images showing the Black community in its most natural kind of form, and it's just really, really lovely photography. So those two are the ones that stood out for me.
I'll go on, Claire.
I wanted to say that one of the works that stood out for me was Damilola's collage that she had, which was titled Find Your Roots. And I really liked it because of the ethos behind it, like going back to your roots and showing kind of all the imagery that you come across whilst you're kind of like in your home space. And yeah, the print that she created was really beautiful. So that stood out for me.
Hi, I really liked Rosetta's work. I love the fact that she was kind of blending like her African heritage with sustainability, and like the head wraps and the denim I just thought was incredible, and like the silhouette. So I love that, and the fact that she was like encouraging young designers to really use their heritage as inspiration. So yeah, I thought that was amazing, really strong.
I had two things that really stuck out for me. So the first one was Nadine Reynolds' collaboration. It was basically an image of a woman, and it was animated, and it had a beautiful like narration over it. Like for me, I've listened to the narration a million times. I just sort of felt like it was like a beautiful positive affirmation, telling young girls to like love themselves, love their bodies and their skin. And for me, that's something that I just think, you know, anybody's got time, fit it in their day. And I do have another one to sort of that I wanted to shout out. And for me, it was also Leia Wasike's photo shoot, like you said, Marta, because for me, I felt so happy to see that there were submissions on hair. I didn't think it was going to be something that was touched upon, and there was actually two submissions, one by Keisha and then one by Leia. And for me, like, I feel like I have consumed so much like negative information about my hair growing up, and it's taken me like now 27 years to start like unlearning and being more like unapologetic for it. So to see them essentially like celebrating Black and natural hair, I was like so happy to see. Sorry, I've gone off on one, but I was really I was so amazed to see them ones. So I just basically wish I had those images growing up. So big shout out to Leia.
I absolutely love the work of Aramatu Toure. Hope I said the name right. But her work was called Memory, Cry and Dance of River. It was kind of like a textile piece, which was slightly distressed and drawings, but I thought it was so amazing because I felt like it explored the binary opposition of the lived experience of a black person, like hate, love, enslavement, freedom, trauma, healing. It was just really interesting in terms of like, I just loved it. Another piece of work that I absolutely loved was Mafusha, and it was a celebration of South Asian creative identity, and I find that so interesting because as of recently, in terms of my experience of learning about Blackness, it's kind of like trailed into like learning a bit more about South Asian culture, which is absolutely amazing. So yeah, absolutely love it.
Similarly for me, it was Rosetta's work with Bible, with the sustainability angle, but also because I know a lot of secondhand clothes and textiles are more or less just transported and dumped into Africa. So it's kind of messy in how clothing can be reused in a professional way. And also layers of the hair images, and also just speaking about, you know, why she decided to do it, and the idea of collaboration and collaborating with her friends, and just the imagery, like the joy. I think it's just nice, like overall seeing how everyone tackled this project, and coming from angles of joy, of beauty, of pain as well. It's just so so many vast. It's just the scope was so vast, so I definitely feel like everyone should check it out, and there was so much like amazing work in there, and it's always just interesting how the outcomes can be so vast, basically.
I mean, you guys have
just... Sorry. Yeah, following on from Sharifah's point, Aramatu's work was, there was a video with her work, and she sings at the end of it. And the song is so powerful that it literally made me stop my tracks, because her voice is really beautiful, and two, it's like everything that she sings in it. You've heard the song at the end of the video earlier, and yeah, it's great.
Can I have one more as well? Antonia's work, Paris Thompson, she was talking about the Windrush generation, and I just thought it was like almost like a love letter, like, you know, like the fact that she'd literally written out people's experiences on the textiles. I thought that was amazing. And, you know, I've got grandparents that came over in the Windrush, so like hearing their stories and then seeing that piece of work, just, yeah, it really, really resonated with me.
I just also wanted to say that Antonia was 17, and I just feel like the amount of work that she put into that garment and that headscarf was insane. Like, she worked so hard on it, and like you said, Vanessa, that hand embroidery that she had done was just like, she's so talented. So big shout out to her.
Yeah, like stunning. Yeah, when I saw she was 17, I was like, wow, that's amazing. Amazing.
I mean, there is so much talent going on in that gallery. It was definitely quite moving to kind of see it all in one place. We've kind of touched upon it slightly already here, where you guys have kind of talked about the pieces that stood out to you and why. But why is this gallery, this Black Lives Matter gallery, so important right now?
I think it was just amazing to see everybody like expressing themselves and the issues of Black Lives Matter that obviously we've seen so much across social media, the news, but to see it being expressed in a creative way, just, I think just has such power. And like, we know creativity is just such a powerful medium anyway. So I just felt, yeah, I just thought it brought another level to the conversation.
I'll talk.
I'll go.
Oh, sorry. Cleo, go for it, Cleo.
Yeah, also just building on that, I think representation is just such an important thing when it comes to the digital and visual world we're like stepping into. And I think just to have these images and these creatives work out there is just such an inspiration for younger creatives that are hoping to come into this industry as well. And just being able to see that is just, it's really inspiring. And I think it's something that's just going to help the fashion industry become so much more like diverse and organic. And yeah, I think the topic of representation is something that I think is really important, and why this project is so unique and lovely.
Yeah, I must say, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting the chat to say how inspired I was. We were just talking about the hair stuff there, and the works of art that was created around the theory of Black hair, and we are so underrepresented that it's I remember me growing up and not having a clue what to do with this whole crazy top knot going on my head right now. And so to see works of art reflecting that, I just think that message is so important for young people. My 5-year-old self would have loved to have seen that imagery and seen myself reflected. Sorry, I had to pop in to say that. You guys continue.
I totally agree, Annaliese. I've already gone off on it, but I just totally second that. Like, they're images that we don't usually see, and I think I can be honest to myself now and just be like, wow, like how I talked about it, how I was like rude about it was like unacceptable, you know. It's just like now I'm able to be like, right, this is me, like get on with it, love it, let's, you know, move forward with it. So yeah.
I think as well, it's just a bit of inspiration as well for maybe those who could have been unaware of ways to you know, showcase diversity, or if, you know, if they didn't have any clue. It's just a nice place to go and look at different ways of doing it in a positive way, which I think is a good idea, and it's just nice to have it in that on the site, showcased in that way.
I think it's amazing because for me, I think to myself, for Black people, Black and brown people, our mother tongue was taken away from us, and creativity allows us to create our own language, our new language, and it's a language that we can all kind of understand and read and interpret in our own ways and everything like that. But I feel like in so like, you know, the key phrase is like, you know, don't silence your voice can't be silenced, and in so many ways you have to learn their language, you know, learn the oppressor's language, and it's just like, this gallery allows us to create a language for our own and claim it and slay in it.
Yeah, I feel like the platform on the gallery is important because it shows how important it is for us to kind of tell our own stories, and how just by giving that platform and seeing how diverse and how different the outcomes were, even though it might be like fashion week and outcomes did relate to fashion, but you know, we saw short films, we had music, we had photography, textiles. It was just so vast, and it's just nice to see how we can talk about the issues that are pressing for us, and why you know, even more so, not that we should have to ever justify why our lives matter, but just in a different kind of topics, I guess, that are pertinent to us as individuals.
Seem to have lost Ola there. But again, 2020 has been an unprecedented year. I know this question we didn't actually go over, but I think it's quite important to kind of find out, how did you guys feel about it was almost like Black Lives Matter this year picked up pace and speed, and it was very at the forefront of people's minds. How have your experiences been over the last few months dealing with this recent movement?
I need therapy. Period, point blank, like I need therapy. I think that's very important. We need to focus on our mental health, because in my own experience, it was quite scary. And then even with like interacting with brands and working whatever, everything feels quite scary. Everything feels like you have to correct another piece of armor. So it also kind of made me think about my ancestors and think about what they had to go through, because what we're experiencing now is, for me personally, nothing compared to what my ancestors were going through. So I felt like for them, I need to be stronger, I need to be better, I need to be, you know, just powerful like they were powerful.
I think as well, it's something that we've definitely been dealing with forever. But I think because of the fact that we've been dealing with it every day, it's kind of like second nature, and we've like pretty much like suppressed it in a way. And I think with everything that's gone on, it's kind of brought that feeling to the surface, and it's been so heightened, and it has been really, really hard to deal with, to be honest, because you kind of start to remember things that you've experienced, maybe things that you haven't even dealt with, that you push to the back of your mind. So definitely I completely understand like what was said with regards to mental health and just taking care of yourself and ensuring you take the time out to deal with that, to be honest, is very, very key.
Yeah, I was just going to pop in and say also 100% agree with like what's been said about the importance of mental health. And I think for me, it's been quite a tiring past few months, especially when it comes to creativity, because it's hard to kind of like balance the two when you're going through such like an intense time in the world, and like that can be said for the whole of the year as well. But I think what I've just been, there's been a few like quotes and words from activists that have really stood out this year as well, which has also helped me. And I remember one of them was how, I think it was saying how like racism and this lack of diversity isn't just an issue that Black people need to like deconstruct. It's actually an issue that white people also need to deconstruct, and more so like even their responsibility in a way. I just thought that was a really like important quote when it comes to talking about power structures and how we need to kind of come together and how people need to take responsibility to kind of move forward into like into a better world. And I think it's really exciting to have this discourse coming up, but also quite, tiring, I'd say. But yeah, I think it's like things like this that remind us that creativity and healing is the most important thing. And for me particularly, I think that healing myself through different like healing modalities, but especially creativity, is what I'm here to focus on, I think.
Like, totally agree with what everyone else has said. Like, it's been a really difficult few months and it's been really tiring. And I think like the point Marta made around, you know, maybe things that you'd kind of suppressed and thought that you were dealing with on a day-to-day basis actually all came to the forefront. Like, what I would say is though, like, is excited the right word, but I believe that we're in the place now to get change. I think, you know, I spoke to like some of my like older relatives, like, you know, like my mom, my grandparents and stuff, and they were like, this feels different. It feels different to past kind of movements and stuff that have happened. So like for that reason, I'm excited that, you know, we can make change. And even like, you know, like you've just said, like us being here together and being able to have this conversation at the start of Fashion Week, and you know, it is now everybody's responsibility to take this conversation and make that change happen.
I think another thing is that this whole movement is kind of, which I'm excited about, is that it's got everyone start thinking about side hustle, not focusing on your 9 to 5 or whatever to kind of give you your income. Focus on yourself and what, you know, because sometimes our creativity and our progress is stunted by the realities of the fashion industry and the creative industry as a whole. So how can we claim that and make money out of our creativity the way we want to, and not let it be dictated?
So much to discuss here. Why don't we start focusing a little bit on the fashion industry? It's a big question, but what are the diversity issues within the fashion industry? How have those affected you guys within your career?
Cleo mentioned it earlier, but in my experience, I would just say, obviously representation is a huge issue. I think that some brands do great jobs at sort of showing different bodies and races and everything in their campaigns, but it's not necessarily reflected in their workforce. And I think that I personally, in my experience, haven't seen a Black person or people of colour really in senior roles. And I think, how do young people like get inspired and think, God, that can be me, when they don't even see themselves in those positions? When Vanessa comes, Vanessa, when you come and you speak at the beginning of our project for Fashion Futures, I don't think you know, but obviously they tell us like how amazed they are, you know, a Black young lady from Essex, design director at ASOS, and they're like, oh my God, that can be me. Like, they talk about it and they're so inspired. It's so important that, you know, they see themselves in these roles. So for me, that's what I found. Like, I haven't seen myself in those roles, you know, so I think that's something that really needs to be tackled.
Yeah, Danielle, thanks. Look, it means a lot, and that's why, you know, I am involved in FAD, and that's why I believe we need bigger versions of FAD and more FADs, because we need to be able to show, you know, young people coming through that they can do it. And I think it is really difficult at the moment in terms of fashion, because you're not necessarily going to go into a brand, a company, and see your help people and give them the confidence to still strive. You know, when I started in fashion 20 odd years ago, you know, there was no one that looked like me, but I was determined that I was going to get into the industry and that I was going to make it, and no one was going to tell me any different. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, that's the thing with fashion, is it's making sure that the representation is internal as well as external. And, you know, there is so much like money and privilege and power in fashion. So, I mean, there's no reason why fashion can't make that change.
I also, sometimes it feels like diversity is a trend, like a topical thing that is just happening for the moment, and brands are trying to jump on that to be seen to be doing the right thing. I mean, how do you guys feel about that?
I mean, absolutely. I think, you know, that's what fashion does, doesn't it? It is about picking up on trends. And I think that is what every single company and brand needs to be so aware now, in terms of making statements around Black Lives Matters, posting the Black Square. It's not a trend. You are responsible now. You've made your commitments. But again, like what I sort of said earlier, is I just think it's really powerful, because I believe that the younger generation will hold people to account, and they will expect brands to deliver on what they're saying. And it can't just be about, you know, having diversity in models or influencers that they use. People will expect to see it internally.
I agree completely with what you said, Vanessa, because I think, yeah, fashion is about trends, and it's about picking up on like culture and responding to it. But personally, when I'm seeing all of that happening with, like, you know, posting the Black Square and stuff, all I can think about is that this thing that people are becoming aware of, and this activism that's starting to like surface, isn't something that can solely exist online, isn't something that can solely exist like on your Instagram feed and stuff like that. And so I agree that it has to be internal. It also has to come from, like, you have to take it to the root of the problem, and not just kind of, it can't be surface. And I think sometimes when I think about Instagram, for example, and a lot of other like campaigns and stuff, it does, for me, sometimes I see it as all kind of surface. And I think that sometimes that can be a bit off-putting, when it's like you want somewhere to kind of accept you and be diverse, and then to kind of go into the company and see that it's actually just all this exterior thing and nothing that isn't reflected in its internal kind of like structures or anything like that. So I think, whilst I think the trend thing is kind of like, it's just like all trends, it's gonna pass. So if we want this to be like an actual real change type of thing, it has to be more than a trend. It has to be like an internal like transformation in a way, which I think is difficult for like such a big thing, such a big industry like fashion, but I think it's definitely doable. And yeah.
I agree with you know, what Vanessa was saying. I do think that with everything that's gone on, change is already starting to happen, and whether it's a trend or not, at the moment we have kind of seen a little bit of it happening. But I think I agree with what Sharifah was saying earlier. If anything, this has kind of like made it more important for people to work on their own thing, if they have that, if that's a passion of theirs, because sometimes it's not just about waiting for people to open the door for you, you know, waiting for companies to accept you and diversity, etc. I think it's about time that we just do our own thing, if that's what you want to do, and just strive for that, and then you yourself create opportunities for the younger people, rather than waiting for people to give you an opportunity. I think that's also important.
I guess the other thing is that it's nice that brands want to, you know, maybe a bit more accountable and to have more diversity and representation. at the same time, once they have employed Black people, brown people, is that also that duty of care? So knowing that they're in a safe place, you know, the voices they're not going to be downplayed, microaggressions. So companies also, it's not just about employing Black people. At the same time, you have Black people, are you giving them some opportunities? Are you paying them fairly? Are you listening to what they have to say? You know, are you just having tokenism? You know, is it a place that people come and they want to stay? So also it's like, it's nice to be like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but once we're here, then what, you know? So I think it's also, it's nice having that first step where some brands have maybe said, you know, they've showed, you know, statistics of diversity at their head offices, and, you know, saying, okay, we want to employ more diverse people. Then it's like, okay, what next after that? So it's constant work enough to employ people. But I think it's like, at least the conversation is starting. But I think similar to what Marta is saying as well, at the same time, it's not just always waiting. Sometimes you also have to do your own thing and create your own, open your own doors, create a new table.
Go on, Melissa, I know you want to talk.
Yeah, I mean, with everyone speaking about the workplace and duty of care, it's always from top down, and we always don't want to see the sole Black or brown person being the chief diversity officer, which is one thing that I've always noticed whenever we demand transparency with brands and asking who is actually working in there. It has to be from who we see in HR, who my manager is, who our colleagues are, and yeah, it's I see now with this opportunity that a lot of younger people will demand that transparency. But yeah, it's an exciting time. I can't wait for the next 5 years to see what the workplace in fashion will.
I mean, I agree, it's so exciting. And I think we can all say that it fundamentally comes down to representation and getting those people that reflect society in those higher jobs, kind of showing what society can be. I know that I didn't want to interrupt Vanessa because I'm sure what you had to add was going to be really exciting, so go for it.
No, so don't worry. No, that's a really good point. No, I was literally just on the back of what Melissa was saying. I was just thinking, you know, I think it's massively about education, and it's education across the board and every level, top to bottom. And to like Cleo and Melissa's point, it is about, you know, our white colleagues taking the mantle and taking that conversation. And, you know, they're the ones that need to be, you know, hugely educated and part of spreading that conversation.
They also have to be willing to take the risk, because a lot of the times it's us taking the risk, which, you know, could have us jobless or whatever. But I need to see a lot more risk takers here when it comes to the colleagues in the workplace.
And what, like, I'm kind of asking a question, Annaliese, I'm not taking your job, but I'm like, you know, what does people think in terms of, you know, because it is a journey, it is like education, and it's like people will make mistakes along the way. And I think that's what, you know, the industry is so worried about as well. You know, they never want to get anything wrong. And of course, we don't want them to get anything wrong. And it does lie in education, but, you know, mistakes might be made along the way, but they can't stop the conversation. They can't stop that journey.
Can I just say, sorry, can I just say, I feel like sometimes when a mistake is made, it highlights more so that there are not diverse people within the office, because if there were, surely before it got to that stage, somebody would have said, you know what, I don't think this is going to work out, or maybe we shouldn't be doing this. So that if anything just shows us that there is a lack there, if that makes sense.
For brands being able to put their hands up and say, hey, we did something wrong, but actually learning from it and not making the same mistake again is one massive thing that needs to happen. I've seen countless of times where there are loads of like apology notes on Instagram or something like that to say, oh yeah, sorry, we didn't realize this was offensive. But then within 2 weeks, another product is there again. And it's like, how many times do we have to have Twitter threads or like Instagram stories about it? And it's just, yeah, like what Marta said, it's all about who is on the table making the.
I hate calling them mistakes. They are not mistakes in my eyes. They know full well what they're doing. They knew it beforehand. They knew when they were making that decision and pressing that email and send, and they knew after. Some of these things are not mistakes. They know full well. After a while, the same thing has been said again and again and again, and you still call it a mistake. No, I'm sorry. I feel like we need to change the terminologies of what they do, because mistake makes them feel like they're the victim. Oh, sorry. Like nah, I just don't like the word a mistake. That is not a mistake, because we can't make mistakes. So if we can't make mistakes, why am I allowing them to make a mistake?
Yeah, no, totally agree. And I think it is, though, I think it's that journey piece, and like what we need to like just make sure that brands are willing to go on that journey and keep at it, and that they.
I mean, we've definitely said it in this conversation already about how important representation is, but at the same time we've also touched on the fact about how exciting it is, because I do think it does feel different right now, and I think it's a great place to kind of find out what advice you'd give to young people who want to work in the fashion industry at this exciting, tumultuous time. There we go.
I'm just gonna, repeat the same thing, which is just keep on going, even though you feel like the doors aren't opening. Just keep trying, never give up, especially if it's a passion of yours, because you're only gonna regret it in the end if 10 years from now you're not working in the industry that you wish you had worked in. So I'd definitely say keep going, and like I said, work on yourself and work on your side hustle, if that's what you want to do, and that will probably push you to continue with your journey.
Yes, I was just going to add to that. I think the keep on going spirit is like really important, especially when it comes to creativity and if that's your passion. And I also think like find other like-minded individuals and other like-minded creatives and collaborate and like get together, create your own collective, create your own, I think the togetherness is going to be really important because we're stronger in numbers. And so I just think find other people that like share your same views, and maybe some that don't, but also don't feel the need that it's like your responsibility to educate people. And saying this like to my younger self and to younger people, because it isn't like you're growing up and you're meant to be educated. So don't, that isn't your whole responsibility, so don't take that pressure on. But likewise, like remember not to stay in an echo chamber. And I think being together and just maximizing that creativity is just gonna make you so much stronger as an artist, and also just be more exciting, and I think that's what I'd say.
For me, I suppose what the gallery has almost shown is just be you and celebrate you as well. Like, don't change, just be yourself. I just feel like that's what everybody's done, and they've been so honest and like truthful in the entries that they've given us, and I feel like that's that's really telling, like just celebrate yourself.
My advice would be don't feel afraid to kind of step out of fashion and go into another industry, because that can be a big influence of how you can step back into the fashion industry and have transferable skills. Like coming out of uni, I couldn't access the fashion industry, so I diverted and tried to use these skills to try and influence what I could do in fashion. So that's a big thing, I think. That's a big.
Also, there are no traditional routes into the fashion industry. I mean, I didn't go to university. I was actually inspired by doing FAD fashion features when I was younger, and then through their support, I ended up doing an apprenticeship instead. And it taught me so much more than what I think I would have learnt at uni, mainly because it's that experience in the workplace, as well as just it was a lot more practical for me as well.
Yeah, could I just quickly say, like, build on what Melissa said, another two pieces of advice is to get involved with FAD, like that will change your life. And also what I just wanted to like reiterate what I think maybe we said it, but yeah, I think it was Danielle, you said celebrate yourself, and I just think that's so beautiful. And I think that above everything else is just so important for young creatives of color and especially young Black women. Like, celebrate yourself. I think that's what I'd say.
Yeah, no, I was just going to reiterate everything that everyone said. Like, it is about going in, being your authentic self. I think definitely don't be scared to pivot. Like I started in fashion. I did go in a more traditional route, but I started doing one thing and then completely changed into do something else. Like at the moment, you know, I do menswear. I'd never done menswear before. So don't think you can't not do anything. You can, and you know, get a network, like Cleo talked about, work with other people. But yeah, just don't take no for an answer. And like, this is a really exciting time to be coming into fashion. And as I said before, and like Danielle referenced it, when you go in, you might not see people like you, like that is the reality, but like also like you can be the start of change, and we are going to see that change.
I mean, that was such a great advice there. I actually just got past this quote, which is very fitting. It's very fitting indeed. If they don't offer you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Yeah, it's true, right? From Audre Lorde there. You guys have been absolutely amazing, but I do think that we've got a really great opportunity here. I know some of you have got your own brands, doing different things. Why don't you share with us how we can find you and, you know, get some buy-in going on?
Can I quickly just add on to what you just said, Annaliese? I don't have my brand yet, but I just wanted to say, like, building on that quote, it's sort of something else just came to mind, and it was also, you know, if there's no seat for you at the table, create your own table.
Yeah.
Same.
Snap, 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 snap. Oh, I'm not muted. So yeah, I want you guys to, whoever does have a brand, or tell us what your Instagram handles are so we can find out more about you and follow your journeys.
So my brand is called Dispari. My Instagram handle is Dispari Official, and yeah, you can just have a look there and see if you like it. It's unisex at the moment, but I am working on new products, so definitely follow and stay tuned to see what's coming there. And for my personal one, it's Mart_A, and I do showcase, like, you know, what I do at work, and you know, working on my brand and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
My brand is Oshun's Vanity, and my Instagram handle is Oshun's Vanity. But I sell masks and earrings, and will soon be selling interior. And yeah, basically my Instagram is not only you know, me showcasing my work, but also a reflection of my journey in terms of me and my Black identity. So if you want to use it as just a way of learning a bit more as well, just check it out.
Else have anything to add? Something you want to share?
Yeah. I have a brand as well. Oh, sorry. Oh. My brand is Ola. You can see on Instagram with by_Ola. So it's B_Ola, and it's basically textiles, accessories, lifestyle brand. And I also just wanted to add as well, in terms of just words of encouragement, there's definitely space, just remembering that the fashion industry is global. So where you're meant to be local, you might have to, you know, connect with creatives abroad. You might have to, like for me personally, I moved abroad. I moved to France first, kind of had my first kind of big break in the textile industry and then moved back. So it cannot be and just opening up to other possibilities and other spaces that you could be in.
I don't have a brand, but I just wanted to say, just like in addition to like everything else everyone else has said, like obviously we're here at the beginning of Fashion Week, and for me to be able to make change, it's a collective responsibility. So just a call out to Fashion Week, to fashion brands, you've got to work together, I believe, to make change happen. So just a call out for people to come together, work together, share to
you can actually find everybody's Instagram handles on the FAD Instagram page, on our panel post, so make sure you check all of the fabulous people out that are here with me today. Thank you so much, guys. That was really, really nice. I enjoyed that. Give yourselves a round of applause. I actually wish that we had more time because there is so much to kind of digest about this topic. But again, just thank you for your time this morning. Please make sure that you check out the virtual gallery, which is at www.fad.org.uk. Of course, congratulations to all of the 24 artists whose work was featured. It was definitely inspirational, right? Let's give them a clap because I was impressed, super impressed. Thank you to our lovely panel, Cleo, Danielle, Marta, Melissa, Ola, Sharifah and Vanessa. Thank you to our partners, of course, Fashion Scout, to W London, and of course to the Mayor of London as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I was a little bit nervous about today, but this was a great start to Fashion Week for me. I will definitely be tuned in to Fashion Scout Digital. Make sure that you guys are as well. And of course, make sure you follow FAD Charity on Instagram. I don't know if you're not doing that. I don't know why we're even here. Get to it. Thank you so much, guys. See you later.